There seems to be, this is all one piece of plastic, so there are lots of screws to undo all the way up to the handle. So let's take those out. Pick the right side. More cleaning. Bearing has come out of there. Okay. Let's take the motor out. So the brushes are in here. I reckon if we take that back, yeah, I reckon we can take this whole centre piece out. Oh, there we go. Yeah, look, the brushes just pop out of those two little holes. I reckon 2 new brushes in there, pushed in. Bit of a clean up. Put it back together, I reckon that's going to work. Okay, so before we order any new parts, I have cleaned this up a little bit with emery paper and cleaned inside there with a bit of emery paper just to make sure, because this was rusty and it's in a damp shed, kept in a damp shed, that there's no contact between the armature and the rest of the motor. So before we order any new parts for it, I just want to check that the bearings are reasonably free and not that's not going to cause a problem, and we're not repairing something that's really had its life. So that one, yeah, that is nice and smooth. It goes up and down a little bit, but actually it's nice and smooth. There's no lateral play in it. Where's the other bearing? There's the other bearing. So just checking that on the end of that motor. Yeah, that's really tight as well, and it's really loose. There's no play in it, and it's nice and smooth. So here are the old brushes. They're quite short. They might have been okay, but I suspect this is the problem, that they are worn out, and the springs that hold them against the armature here, that are inside these little square barrels, the springs aren't holding them against the armature. So I'm going to order 2 new brushes. I'll get them off eBay. Welcome back. So the new brushes have arrived. Those 2 there, you can see the difference to the old ones. So now it's just a case of putting it all back together. Let's move this into shot. So first thing we need to do is try and get these new brushes into the motor. They go one way round. You pop in like that. You can see the spring going back, and this one is quite awkward to do with 2 hands, but oh no, make sure it's there's 6mm by 7mm, the end profile. Here we go. So they have to go in like that. Stick a finger in the middle so that they won't pop out completely, and then pop the armature back in. Give it a bit of a twist. Ooh, they're coming out, they're coming out. There we go. Gently let them settle around the armature or the commutator rings, and then just make sure that the springs are engaging those 2 brushes. I can see this one's not quite, give it a bit of push, that's it, it's clicked. Yeah, so the brushes, both sides, I can see in there and in there, are touching the commutator rings. Then we need to put it back in the device. Working out where it needs to go. This bearing needs to go inside of this groove. You'd think it would go in the groove, but it doesn't. It goes inside of it like that. So this bit presses down. There's a horizontal bit here, horizontal bit on the back. Just make sure that sits in there nicely. There you go. You need to push it back a bit and you will feel it'll lock in. And then just lift up this end, pop the end bearing in. It needs to go vertically in like so. That's it, that's nicely seated. Everything's seated down securely. Okay, let's put the cover back on. Make sure the wire's in all its guides. It is. Put that back on like that. Okay, let's plug it in, give it a go. Success, it feels smooth.